That time of the week where we check what investors have been up to. It has been chaos on the markets, obviously, given how everything's playing out geopolitically. Gemma Dale joining us now from nabtrade. Gemma, good to see you. Our heads are still spinning. Look at what happened on the US market overnight. The Aussie market can't quite decide which way we're going at the moment, even as we head towards the close. How have investors been negotiating this chaos?
Yeah, it's been extraordinary, right? We've had reporting season. I've mentioned to you guys before, no one on a retail platform gets excited about reporting season per se, but they love watching what's happening with the stocks, and they like the price action a lot. But the geopolitical tensions that have just dramatically affected markets. What happened yesterday was fascinating to watch. One of the stories I always get from fund managers when I speak to them, they're astonished how quickly retail investors move. And it used to be that people would set a portfolio and maybe shift at the margin a little bit, but they're so active now. And it's not day trader, it's people watching carefully and moving when they want to. And so we saw our volumes spike dramatically yesterday afternoon. They were high in the morning, settled down a little bit, and then when the news started coming in, absolutely went berserk.
Would you say that's panic initially?
Not really, no. Our guys are waiting for an
Measured.
opportunity to buy. They're looking for a sell-off. Obviously, I hope there's no correlation between the bad news and then seeing it as an opportunity. They're just looking at the prices rather than thinking about it in any other way. But the cash is sitting there and people have been waiting for an opportunity to buy. And then we're seeing more cash flood onto the platform. So we just saw this massive spike in buying yesterday afternoon as the market really just fell away so quickly. And they've clearly been waiting for it. We know that they've been waiting for a catalyst to kind of kick things off. But there's also been reporting season, and at the individual stock level, there's been a fair bit of movement as well.
So top three names on the buying list yesterday, what were they?
So the big three, which blow my mind. So there's Fortescue, that doesn't surprise anybody at all. It's always Fortescue. BHP was in there. I mean, they were both off 4+%. So that kind of collapse is enough to get everyone very excited. But the other one, which was clearly a reporting season thing, not a broad market thing, was Appen. And Appen never gets anyone interested, right? It's been such an awful downhill run over 12 months. It's nearly 70% off, and it's back to sort of 2017 prices at the moment. And anyone who's following charts would just look at that and go, I need to put that aside. It just needs to find a floor, and I don't know what that floor is going to be. And yet, clearly some of our guys were interested. They were all over it yesterday. That surprised me a lot.
Yeah, I'm interested to see those buying and selling opportunities that your guys saw yesterday, like CIMIC, which we saw where that price spiked incredibly. And of course, Domino's, we've seen so much weakness there. So how did that play out?
So CIMIC is fascinating, but probably, again, typical of how closely our guys watch the market. It was a 99% sell. 99%, very clearly, I'm going to take that opportunity, I'm going to get out. But it happened immediately after the news, so people had been, clearly had their alerts set, to be frank. Like, they may not have been watching their screen, but they had their alerts on, so they knew that was coming and got all over it. Domino's is really interesting. That was a big retail favourite a few years ago, and then clearly the price has moved a lot. The news was very disappointing during the week. Price comes off. Our guys were all over it. Huge buy. Loved it. But they haven't been interested for a couple of years. First time.
What about the safe haven plays like the gold miners? Were there any interest there?
Yeah, so this was where people started showing that sort of broader anxiety about what was going on. We saw a little bit of buying in the gold ETF, which was quite interesting. Northern Star, Newcrest and so on. So they came up the numbers in a way that we would anticipate during this sort of period of volatility. The other thing that was interesting was BBOS, which is the Strong Bear hedge fund, right? That was huge during COVID when the market was collapsing, and it's just popped back in again. It's not right across our base, obviously. It's a small number of people who know what they're doing with that one, but they were very interested yesterday.
What sort of action have we seen internationally with foreign shares, particularly I guess the likes of some of the popular ones such as Tesla, and we've seen that price action in tech. You get a sore neck out of that, don't you?
We keep waiting for that contrarian behaviour we see in Australia to shift to our international share markets. We just see consistent buying in international. It's a very, very different set of behaviours. We don't see the kind of, I'll pick up on weakness thing happening. The one thing that has been happening is that Tesla's now a sell, and we have not seen that before. There's been a shift to kind of trimming that position. It's obviously well off its highs, but it's still doing extremely well. Given our guys have been buying it for 3 to 4 years, most of our investors are sort of head and shoulders above where they started and doing really well, and so they're trimming on that at the moment.
Well, why wouldn't you?
Gemma, always love having you in. Thank you so much for joining us.
Great to see you guys.